Welcome to Breslov campus. We're going to talk about today this concept of a singular unit bending to the many. Yachid v'rabim halacha kerabim. That a single unit bends to the majority view. Rabbi Nachman, to express and explain this idea, he brings down the amazing story in the Gemara, in Baba Metzia, of the dispute regarding a type of an oven called Tanur de Achnai. Achnai oven, which was a type of oven that made of bricks, stone, but joined with a specific type of filling. This type of stone was brought before the sages who were in the study hall learning. Of them at the time was Rabbi Yoshua and also Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol. Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkinus, one of the main disciples of Rabbi Yochanan. So the sages were asked to rule about the susceptibility level of this oven, if it is susceptible to tuma, impurity, or not. Rabbi Yoshua plus the majority of the sages who were there at the time ruled that the oven is not susceptible, and Rabbi Eliezer Gadol ruled that it is susceptible. So Rabbi Yeshua told Rabbi Eliezer, we're the majority, and the rule is Yachid v'rabim halacha kerabim. When you have one opinion and you have many opinions, halacha follows the majority. Rabbi Eliezer Gadol refused to accept their view, and he wanted to prove to them that the halacha was like him, because there's a statement in the Gemara, halacha ke Rabbi Eliezer b'chol makom. Rabbi Eliezer was so great, that's why he was called Rabbi Eliezer the Great, Rabbi Eliezer Gadol, Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkinus. The halacha is like him. In any dispute, we follow him. But in this case, he wasn't being followed. So he wanted to show and prove to the sages that halacha was like him. He brought 4 proofs. Number 1, he said that if halacha follows me, that this oven of Achnai, the style, type of Achnai oven, is not susceptible to tuma, so let this carob tree, there was a carob tree outside of the Torah study hall, let this carob tree be uprooted, and prove it by being uprooted and landing in front of me. So as soon as he said that, the carob tree became on its own uprooted from the ground, the earth, and landed in front of the sages. Rabbi Yeshua and the sages said, still, halacha follows the majority. That's not a proof. So Rabbi Eliezer said, okay, this stream of water, there was a stream of water outside the Torah study hall. If halacha is like me, let this stream of water be the proof that now it should change directions of the water flow. Normally water flows from top to bottom, downwards, downhill. Let it now reverse. And that's what happened. The water went against the tide in the other direction. The sages said, including Rabbi Yeshua, still halacha follows the majority, no proof. So Rabbi Eliezer, he said, let the walls of the Beit Midrash, of the Torah Center, the Torah Study Hall, be proof that if halacha is like me, let the walls begin to fall. The walls began to fall, to cave in, and putting everyone in danger inside the Torah Study Hall. So Rabbi Yeshua, he told the walls, he said, this is not the goal of Torah study. It's to live. You have no right to now prevent us from learning because of what Rabbi Eliezer is saying. So the walls froze. They didn't fall down all the way in honor of Rabbi Eliezer, right? In honor of Rabbi Yeshua, his wish, and they didn't go back up in honor of Rabbi Eliezer, because both of them were big, outstanding sages. So the walls stayed on a curved position. And again, the sages said it's not a proof, not a proof. So then Rabbi Eliezer said, if halacha follows me, let a heavenly voice come down from heaven and proclaim and prove that halacha is like me. So as soon as he said that, they heard a bat kol, a divine voice, saying, halacha ki Rabbi Eliezer b'chol makom. Halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer in every place. And Rabbi Yeshua and the sages said, we don't accept any heavenly voice to intercede in halachic decisions, because from the time that the Torah was given to us at Har Sinai, Hashem has given over to mankind to dictate the laws. The sages of mankind are the ones entrusted in deciding and deciphering halachic questions and halachic issues as to what to do to best serve Hashem the proper way. So halacha has been given over to them, and you, heaven, have no right to intercede. And then they put Rabbi Eliezer on a cherem, a type of excommunication, in order that conflict should not spread amongst the Jewish people. So Rabbi Nachman, he goes a step further, and he says that Rabbi Eliezer, with these 4 proofs, was indicating that he had mastered holy speech. And if he has mastered holy speech, that means he's mastered coming close to the truth, which is a result of clarified halacha. And also that the truth is with him. So Rabbi Eliezer reached a high level. So the question is, if he reached such a high level, why does the halacha not follow Rabbi Eliezer in this case? So he explains, Rabbi Nachman, that for Hashem, it is a greater accomplishment that even if someone knows that the truth is with him, and he's right, and he has proofs that he is following the truth, and his opinion is the truthful opinion, still, the majority of people who have not yet come to accept this higher level of truth, and because of that, they're not willing to accept that level, and they want to do a communal activity, and this person who has a different view has the option whether to stay out or to be involved. It's very important that this greater person bend himself for the sake of the majority. Because for Hashem, it's a greater accomplishment that a unified opinion comes out of a multitude than of a singular unit opinion which remains single and unique. It's greater for Hashem that a unique voice comes from the many than a unique voice coming out from a singular person. So this, Rabbi Nachman stresses, is so important that even someone can be an outstanding tzaddik and he has devotions and everything, still it is important that he joins the many and he connects to the many in devotions. And this is something which needs to be stressed a lot in life, because people, because of their opinions, it leads to conflict and machloket, and people as a result don't get together to do things that if they were to get together and do something in unison, the power and the greatness of this is so powerful that almost more than anything else, this can hasten the bringing of Mashiach. So just to sign off with an example that took place, there was once a group of Breslov Hasidim who wanted to start a minyan, a quorum, a prayer quorum to daven. But because these were people who couldn't get up early enough in the morning, they scheduled and designed the davening that it should be in line with the second opinion of the latest time to say Kriyat Shema. If you know halacha, so you know that there's 2 opinions of the latest time you have in the morning to recite the Shema prayer. There's the opinion of the Magen Avraham, which is earlier, and the opinion of the Gra, the Vilna Gaon, and the Baal HaTanyan, which is later. So in Breslov circles, and based on what Rabbi Nachman has said many times, it's very important that a Jew daven as early as possible in the day, because prayer is so great, you have no idea what will happen afterwards. If you get up early, you should pray early, not to wait and delay your davening. So now, in this case, there was a group of Breslovers. They couldn't get a minyan together to be able to say the Kriyat Shema before the Magen Avraham time, and they only had a minyan, a group that would get together afterwards and be able to say the Kriyat Shema before the second opinion. So there began to become a conflict what to do, because they said this is not in line with the Breslov spirit to daven earlier and early as possible before the Magen Avraham opinion. So one of the elders of Breslov interceded from a different community, and he said to them like this: for the sake of having a group of Breslover Hasidim davening together, it's worth that they even daven later than the normal time. They're still within the parameters of the code of Jewish law. There's no transgressing halacha here, but it's a secondary, not preferred opinion to follow. It's better that they daven at the second opinion, but together, and have a minyan, than to not have a minyan at all. It's worth that the people who are so adamant that they should daven early should be mevater, should forego and overlook the lack of having the possibility of davening early for the sake of there being a minyan of people to daven together, even if it's a bit later. But the fact that there's a unison and there's a unity and there's a group of people with different attitudes and different perspectives to agree and do something together for Hashem, that's much greater than anything else. And this point has to be stressed over and over again, the greatness and importance of getting a unified opinion from different people, as opposed to each one having their own opinion and there being a lack of getting together to do something on holiness.